Welcome to the Savvy Leader Podcast. We're so excited to have you here. This is the perfect place for leadership growth, learning, and inspiration. Let's get started. Okay, you guys, in this week's episode of the Savvy Leader Podcast, we are thrilled to have our guest, Kendra Miles Smith. She is with the Metro North Chamber of Commerce in Minnesota. She is better known, though, as a master connector and the all things that shine and glitter. I can't not touch on that.
I try to help you shine in a room,
Yes, and you
right?
do a spectacular
In
job.
all areas.
Welcome, Kendra. Tell us a little bit about you, what you do, and then we're going to jump right into some of your incredible insights. So tell us more about yourself, Kendra.
All right. Well, there's dog number one, if you heard it.
No, we didn't, but that's okay. I love dogs.
I know I have three of them, so I'm hoping that, UPS, Amazon, or somebody doesn't pop by the house. Otherwise, you'll really hear them and you'll have to do a lot of editing. Um, so no, I have been networking, did corporate America, worked corporate Target for 11 years, stayed home, did like what do they call it? MLM or so sold jewelry, sold sparkle for that, ran a team of 35 women, then went and did small jobs through networking that I got small jobs so I could work while I was the kids were still in school. And then went and worked for nonprofit, and then I got my job as business development, and that was through networking. And then now I am with the Metro North Chamber of Commerce. So, and what I when I and I think I was talking to you or somebody else, what I realized was that networking just isn't like the typical networking, right? Some people think networking, they're like, you have to be at a meeting and it has to be, you're passing business cards and you're doing a sales pitch. And what I found out when I was analyzing just kind of my career history is like, I started networking when I was at Target.
Mm,
And how they did their networking was, you get promoted, but before you could unpack your desk, they would say, "Okay, so what's your next level? Where do you want to go? What's your next promotion that you're going for?" And make sure you have copies with where you want to go, where you've been, and where you want to reach to. So you could put coffee on your calendar 3 times a week
mm,
and your manager wouldn't have anything to say about like, oh, you're meeting with your old manager or you're meeting with the director or you're meeting with that. And that was a form of networking, right? Now that I
right.
go back and think about it, I'm like, oh, yeah, that was networking. When I was in direct sales, like having parties, meeting people, talking to people, connecting, that was networking. It wasn't the typical, like, again, going to a structured meeting where, passing your business cards. This was networking, maybe more in a social form with wine, but it was networking. And then I grew to love networking. And when I wanted to bring when I quit my corporate job and I was doing direct sales and I wanted to build a team, I'm a carrot chaser. And so like, I got to go on that trip. I got to earn that. I got to get leadership. I got to do
Mm,
this. I went to networking and to build up to like 35 women on my team. And then, um, and then from there, like I said, networking for jewelry went into getting other jobs and then leading me to where I am now with the Metro North Chamber and doing, speaking. I do a lot of networking one-on-one speaking, just helping people understand the power of connections and the power of networking. And one of the biggest things I'm passionate about is having the younger generation understand you don't have to network, but have those connections. Like, they're so quick to pick up their phone and like, oh, let me Google it, let me ask ChatGPT. Oh, I'm just gonna schedule whatever, whoever, whenever, right? But even though some people will say like your phone is one of the things that can distract you completely. It can be one of your biggest tools for, do you know who your banker is? Can you text them and say, hey, there's something wrong with my account? Or do you have to call a 1-800 number? If you got in a car accident, are you calling a 1-800 number? Are you actually like texting your insurance agent saying, I got in a car accident, what should I do right now? Or even investments like financial advisors. So that's one of the big things I try to teach my kids in the younger generation is like, whether you're networking or not, make sure that you have a network of people in your phone that help you with your life daily. So it's your insurance agent, your broker, financial advisor, if you have a business coach, right? Like whatever it is,
Mhm.
you can pick up your phone, you can text them and not have to call a 1-800 number or do a Google search on like, or like, I don't know, is it Google or is it just Chat GBT? Like what are the top, what is the top person or whatever? Like even your auto mechanic, like who do you know, like, and trust? And so the people you know, like, and trust should be in your phone. And that I feel like when life hands you roadblocks, you're able to pick up your phone and help with those roadblocks. I don't know. That's kind of one of the things I'm most passionate about as, my parents taught me a lot. Um, but one of the things they didn't really teach me, because like when I was younger, I'd be like, hey, what bank do we go to? Who's our insurance agent? Like, they're like, oh, this is the agent you go to, this is the bank you go to, this is the whatever. And it wasn't like, oh, build relationships with them, know who they are. It was just like, this is what you do and this is how you do it. You know, just like don't get a credit card, don't create debt. But it's like, but you being in the real estate, this like, but you have to have a little bit of, you know, debt just to create that credit to be able to purchase a house later. So, or a car or rent an apartment. Like, so, I take the tools my parents gave me, but try to elevate it for my kids. And I'm sure they're going to take those tools and elevate it for their kids because life is changing so fast and technology is changing so fast. But even with technology and life changing so fast, face to face and knowing that person is huge.
Oh yeah. I mean, and oh my gosh, you just touched on so many great topics. But first, I'd like to dial it back a little bit and well, there was just so much good stuff in there. And I want to touch on a couple of things that really stood out to me. And first, I think um learning about the concept of and maybe it's just because I didn't understand this when I was in corporate, but the networking while you're working for a company and in a corporate setting like that and learning to network and then having the support of your leadership to encourage you to do so. Talk a little bit more about that and how, was it something that they encouraged you to do? Was it something you thought to do on your own? How did you navigate that? And I mean, did you struggle in the beginning? Was it awkward?
Well, it was, I don't think it was awkward. It was just one of those like, oh, this is what you do. This is the culture, right? Was like, I mean, it was a culture of like, you're not there to be, what do they say? You hire for 5 levels above you. You don't hire for where
Oh,
you're at, right?
mm,
So that's kind of how Target hired. Like, okay, you're coming in at this, but then what's your next step? And what's your next step? And so that's kind of how they drilled it in when you worked for them was like, okay, you're always trying to move and move up the ladder. It's corporate America, right?
mm.
So I guess I thought it was just, I didn't realize back then, like staying connected with your manager and staying connected with like your buyer and your director was networking because they
Yeah.
didn't call it networking. But now when I look back, I realize it was. But it was one of those where it's like, oh, it's the power of who you know, because people went, I mean, I think downtown Target had 6,000 people, 3,000. Don't quote me. I mean, this was in the early 2000s. I'm aging myself now. But that was the early 2000s. But so there was a lot of people. So to stay connected and to stay relevant, you just had to stay in front of people. And and especially when job openings happened, you're able to go in front of them and say, "Oh, hey, remember me?" Or discuss, work and life and get more of that personal side to build those relationships. So I think if you worked for somebody who encouraged that, like one, and saw the potential in you, like this is not where you should be, reaching for more.
Hmm.
That's somebody you should always work for. And if they understand the power of connections and helping you connect, that's somebody also a great leader. Because I mean, I have quotes all the time, but what does it say? You're a great leader if you what I don't even know which one I'm thinking of, like 5 are popping in my head right now, but like, what is it? Like if you hold their hand through the way, or if you are their biggest cheerleader, or however it is, that's a leader, not the one that's on top dictating everything that
Hmm.
everybody should do, but they're actually
Hmm.
in the trenches helping you get to the next level.
And that's so incredible. And I think, maybe it was the years that I was in corporate and I wish I had known that then. Because I think, it's easy to kind of go to work and put your head down and do your job and do a great job and hope that you get noticed or, and then apply for the next promotion and you've got all this experience to back you up. But if you're out there actually literally creating the connections and making yourself known on a deeper level, more than just what you can show on paper, I think it's going to go a lot further and a lot faster. And I think it's so important today, it seems, especially.
Yeah, it's amazing, like, um, I call him my tall kid. He was like, he always said, "I don't wanna do what you and dad do because you guys talk to everybody." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, whatever." And then he went into DECA and they did the competitions and he came home and he goes, "I get it now." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I get it. I get it. It's who you know." He goes, "Because everything I knew one of the judges." And he goes, "And I think that helped us move to the next level." So, um he goes, "Now I'm starting it started to click in his head. It's like, oh, it's who you know, not what you know, um, that can open additional doors." And that's even like with, you become a master connector if you start getting text every day like, "Hey, do you know AC? Do you know somebody that I'm looking to hire? Hey, I'm looking to move. Do you know where I should go?" Whether it's like even yesterday was a real estate agent, like, "I think I'm gonna stop my brokerage and I'm gonna go work for a team. Which teams should I look at?" It's one of those where you're like, "Oh, okay." And again, that's my passion. I love doing that. Like, um, when I was business development for Fairway Mortgage, I loved helping people connect. And if a mortgage came out of it, great. But that was more of my passion was like, if I can help you connect with the right people and build your toolbox, that was my way of like, let's just build business together, right? And if you're successful, then I will eventually become successful. Um, so that's I think with having a mindset like that, that's just kind of what grew me to be more of a master connector and understanding that um and having people, I have so many people that will come up to me and they're like, this networking thing, like, I don't get it. I don't think it actually helps. I don't know how, and I was like, well, look at it this way. Why do you think like McDonald's and Nike and Target still advertise all the time and put in all those marketing dollars? It's because if they don't see you, you're not top of mind. And
Hmm.
so if you're a small business or medium-sized business or even a large business, right? If they don't know you're still in business because businesses are coming and going all the time. If they don't see you, they're like, I don't know, is that still in business? Are they still doing that or did they close their doors? I'm not sure what's happening. So, and that's just like with real estate agents, right? They say 82% of the real estate agents in the next 5 years are going to be gone. So that's only 18% of the real estate agents, if I did math right.
Yep. You did.
But that's 18% in 5 years that are still going to be around. So if you're not out there networking and marketing yourself, people won't know that you're still in business. So, um, and networking and marketing is different and it looks different for everybody. And there's some people who love like being in every networking circle, and there's some people who are like, it's not my jam. I am not walking into that group. That is not, it does not fulfill me. And I'm like, that's totally great. But then think of what will fulfill you. Is it supporting a nonprofit? Is it, being part of your church? Is it coaching? Like all of that is actually networking. If you're out in public and you are, you know, but you still have to open your mouth on what you do. If you don't want to open your mouth, then at least wear a t-shirt with your logo on it, right? But
Yes. Absolutely. I was just reading something from another, influencer, Sarah Blakely, and her Spanx, and she was just talking about how she spent the first 7 years or something of her career wearing the same t-shirt, Spanx. It just had Spanx on it, and she wore it every single day for like 7 years because she didn't have a marketing budget, and so that was what she did. And everybody would ask, "What's Spanx?" And
great.
she had the opportunity to talk about it. So you were with the corporate gig, and then what prompted you to leave? And then did you go right to business development, or were there some stepping stones along the way?
No, so left corporate because my mom didn't want to be a nanny anymore.
Mm.
And daycare for 3 kids is a lot.
Yep.
So I left corporate and stayed home, but I am not the stay home type of gal. So I ended up working again doing the direct sales, so building a team doing that, and was fulfilled with like because I was leadership and meeting new people and helping people be successful and grow. Um, and then I had a friend who was like, "Oh, we need help in our office," so I helped HVAC office at Liberty Comfort Systems for a little bit in their office and helped with their just answering phones and scheduling and whatever when the kids were in school. And then went from that and I was networking jewelry. And I went from that to Services, which now is Meals on Wheels, but I was doing networking for that, marketing and helping them with their dementia friendly project for the city of Anoka. And that was probably a year or so. And then from that, I went to business development where Kim came up to me and said, "Hey, I can teach people the mortgage industry, but I can't teach them how to network. So you want to come work for me?" And I was like, "Well, I'm never going to work corporate America again because I love my flexibility." And she's like, "Nope, I totally get it. Like, I get it.
Yep.
You are going to have your flexibility and you're going to be able to meet and connect with people." And then, and I love, working business development that way. But then I got to the point where, the market's been a little soft a few years for the last few years, and I have 3 now in college. So I went from daycare to now college. So I went into the Metro North Chamber because I still get to network, still get to connect, help businesses grow, strategize with them on um, what tools they should use to try to leverage their networking or marketing, and then as well as helping with events and developing those events as well. So um, it just was right in my wheelhouse so it kind of just moved up and up and up. So that's how I got
Very cool.
from corporate stay-at-home mom, small biz to where I'm at now.
It seems like throughout your journey, though, you were always weaving in this connection piece and creating connections and meeting people and supporting people and helping people build their businesses. Was it just something you kind of inherently knew about yourself that you were good at, or was it something? I mean, I don't know. A lot of us struggle with just kind of identifying where we fit in all of this. Did you already kind of know, or did it present itself?
No, you know what? It's probably been in the because we had that thing called, the pandemic that, you know, hit a few years
Yeah.
ago, 5 years ago. Um, where then it was like, hey, you have to connect with people and let's do it all via Zoom. And like, now how do I do that? Like, I'm a people person. Like, if I want to connect with you, I'm going to pick up the phone and I'm going to call you. Like, I know some people are like, just text me. I don't want to talk. Just text me. But I'm like, I need to get it done. I want to make sure we're on the same page. I'm old school. I'm going to call you. So, that made me kind of doing like the whole Zoom stay in person made me realize like, yeah, I love being in person. I love connecting with people face to face. Like I'll do Zooms and I will connect that way if that's the best way for someone to connect. But I think there's just a power and the energy of just meeting in person. And you can find out like, oh, totally my jam, or like, oh, I know who you should connect with, and they're probably a better fit for you. Um, so after COVID, it's probably when we're back full swing into things is when I realized like, hey, actually, this is what I love doing. Like when you're in the middle of things and you're in the middle of building things, you don't really see it until you had a chance to like step back where it's taken away from you. And then you get it back, and then sometimes that's when you realize like, yep, this is exactly what. So I don't know. I mean, I probably in the last 3 years realized, oh yeah, that's what I love. This is what I'm passionate about is building those connections and bridging the gap for people.
That's awesome. Now you got to tell me though, are you, I mean, you feel like you're kind of an extrovert, right?
Yeah, I am a no, I'm not an extrovert. I'm
No?
actually a situational introvert.
Oh,
So I can go from event to event, but I have to refuel by shutting the door and nobody talk to me.
okay.
Where my husband is a true extrovert and he refuels by being in a room full of people and talking and like look the energy's great, I'm so excited, jazz. Or even when I would do conferences, like there was always a time where there'd be an afternoon where I'd have to like remove myself for like 2 hours, go to the hotel room by myself, just decompress. Like I'd have to figure out like, okay, which one can I skip
Oh,
because I just need to like whew, woosah, just like bring it back, and then I can do. So yeah. So a lot of people are like, no, you're totally an extrovert. And I'm like, no, I've just learned how to like in high school, I'm the one that would be sitting in the corner, like observing the whole room and just like, okay, I'm good. I want to be in the room, but I just want to, I'm the wallflower. So that was that. It just, through age, through maturity, through life experiences, things change, right?
yeah. We probably maybe, and with age, I think we get a little bit more comfortable in our skin, but for those of us that might be a little more introverted, is there a good go to, or do you have a tip for us? Like, what can we do? Whether we're in a corporate environment and we need to send the email or invite the person to coffee to make better connections in our corporate world, or getting into a room, an intimidating room of people, how do you jazz yourself up for that?
Well, first of all, if you're the organizer of um the event, one of the things I would do is have one or two people that are there to help greet people as they walk in. And if somebody is like, this is my first time here, have that person start introducing versus because you'll know it's an introvert when they come into a room and they're like intimidated and they'll go sit at the farthest table
Hmm.
or they'll go stand at the farthest corner by themselves and they'll look at their phone right away. So if you want to connect with them, the best thing is be like, "Hey, is this your first time here?" and shake your hand. I normally try to look for the person that's just comes in and sits down and is like, "Okay, I'm ready for the event, but I'm just going to sit here because I am not an extrovert. I'm not going to jump in a group of people, right?" If you're an introvert, think about if you know who's organizing the event, if you can get a list of attendees and then see who you really want to connect with and maybe ask them, hey, I'm coming to this event. It's my first time. I'd really love to meet these two people. Can you introduce me to those two people? Um,
Great strategy. I
you know,
like that.
if you are first time networking, like when I started business development, I kind of latched on to Tammy with Title Smart because
Mm-hmm.
she was out there business development and she's a true extrovert, right? And so I
Mm-hmm.
kind of latched on with her, like, okay, what show bring me to a couple of your events, help me get connected, help me understand like what the ropes are. So if you're new into networking, even if you asked if you can shadow a couple people, I've had people shadow me like, okay, can I just shadow you? And I'm like, yeah, no problem. Come shadow. And you don't have to talk, or if you want to talk, you can talk. But even just asking to shadow somebody that you know that is doing networking or you're connecting with. But and that, sometimes the buddy system is always easier to walk into a room than walking into a room by yourself. I just had somebody on LinkedIn connect with me and said, I heard that the chamber is a thing that I need to be at. So can we meet for coffee so I can talk more before I go to an event? She goes, and which is great because we just met and it's like finds out that she is an introvert. So her way is connecting before going actually to the meeting to understand exactly what is happening so they can feel more comfortable in what they're walking into. Because that's the biggest thing, right? That's the biggest thing
Mm-hmm.
that holds people back is fear of the unknown. And the
Mm-hmm.
more
Mm-hmm.
prep work you can do, I think
Mm.
the easier it is to walk into a room.
Absolutely. I was invited to an event not that long ago, and I walked in, and it was a social event, and I walked in, and the room was packed, and I turned around and I walked right back because and now I'm thinking if I had gotten a list of people that were going to be there, I could have at least picked one or two people that I wanted to connect with and and let them know and search them out. But there wasn't a greeter at the door. And I remember thinking it would have been so great to have someone here saying hello. And this is what's going on and what do you do? And let me invite you or let me introduce you to someone. I think, what a huge success that could have been. But I
Right.
mean, it can be intimidating.
Right. And you are a master networker, right? So you have done networking for a long time. So just hearing you say, I walked in and I turned around and walked right out. Because so it doesn't matter how long you've been networking or how well you at it. There's things that are intimidating, right? And again, it's not knowing what you're walking into that can be like, oh, yeah. I mean, I'm sure if I walked into an event and I was like, I don't know if this is the right thing for me, I may have turned around and been like, I was just looking for the bathroom. I'm good.
Yep. Excuse me, was the bathroom in here? No. Oh, okay.
Okay. But if it and really what is your goal? Because some
Yes.
people will network because they want to just get their business name out there and they need to get their business launched or some people are there because their boss said you need to network. So this is what you need to do. Um, and if that is the case, like if your boss is like, you need to network, this is what you need to do. What I would say is find somebody in that group that you can do a one-to-one with and see like, okay, who should I connect with? What is the best way? Like, what should I focus on? Whether they're in your industry or not, right? Like you can
Mhm.
always tell in the room the person that knows everybody, that's connecting, that seems like they're running everything. And have a one-to-one with them and just kind of be like, let me know kind of how I can graciously bust into this circle without, having to be like, hey, guess what? I'm in the room.
Stepping on toes and all the things.
Right. Like my boss told me versus like, and I think it's hard especially like if you're doing it because your boss said you need to show up
Hmm.
and represent the company, but that's just not your passion, but this
Hmm.
is part of my job, so this is what I'm doing. Um,
Hmm. And how many times do people actually stop and think to themselves before they walk into a networking event? What is it exactly that I'm hoping to get out of being here? what is my
Right.
intention for being here? Am I just showing up because I didn't have anything else to do and I felt like this keeps me busy and then I feel like I'm kind of doing something? Or do I have an actual intention? And if I am just here for the social aspect of it and just to refuel because I want to meet people, that's great too. I mean, there's
Right.
nothing wrong with any of that, but understanding why you're going to attend any specific event, I think that's huge. I just don't think I don't know that I've ever thought about that intentionally that way every time. And what a great piece of advice. I love it. Thank you.
Yeah. When I do my networking 101 talk, I always say, what is your goal? Like you do a goal, right? Like whether you do
Hmm.
it quarterly, if you do, what is it, the 3-month goal? Is that the
Hmm.
or if you do it yearly, like if networking is part of your weekly, monthly tasks to do you put in what your networking goal is? Like, do you know how many hours a week or month you have to network? Do you know how many connections you want to make? Do you know how much time you have? Like, I might only have time for one-to-one in a month, right? Like, if you're busy, I was business development, so if I could get 5 a week, I'd be like, woo, but I just need to be out and make connections.
Hmm.
Um, but if you know that goal and and there, like 100%, I agree 100% on what you said. Like, if your goal is you're just getting to that networking event just because you need to get out and refuel or just get out and be like, who I feel like whenever I don't want to do something is always when I get the best results.
Yeah.
Like
Ah,
I feel like whenever I go to something like, oh, I'm going to this, I mean, I could be doing this, not sure what this is all about or if this is going to be even my jam. And you're doubting yourself as you drive in the car, like, "Ugh, okay, I'm just going to stand for it. If it's not great, I'm just going to have an excuse and I'm going to beeline it, right?"
yeah.
But I found that whenever that happens, I always find that's like, oh man, I made the best connection. Like I have the best, like a great outcome comes from it. It's like kind of like the universe trying to throw up those
Right.
roadblocks, saying like, how bad do you really want this? Because
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
gonna
and yeah, just like asking yourself that question, but then, kind of is there a mindset that you're in when you're in that place? Like, oh, I really don't want to be here, but I'm here. So maybe you're more intentional.
right. But then also having goals, like my goal is to schedule one-to-one out of this meeting, or my goal is to make
Mm.
2 connections. Like going into a networking meeting, like if there's 30, 60, 100, I mean, I know there's networking groups that have over 100 members, right? Like if you go in there thinking you have to connect with every single one of them, that's crazy, right? Like just
Hmm.
think if you did a one-to-one with every single one of those people, just 1 hour, that's almost 2.5, 3 weeks of work that you just put in, right? Um, so I always say make it where it's bite size, right? Just go into a group and just like, I just want 1 or 2 great connections. Then I can foster those connections and see if those connections will help produce fruit or not, right? And so then you're not overwhelmed of like, oh, I have 5 business cards and I have to do 5 1-to-ones in the next whatever. And it's like, no, grab 2 and just like be intentional about the 2 that you want to connect with and then make it just bite size and then build those relationships. Because again, if you're looking to do business, it's who knows, likes, and trusts you. And if you don't have time for them to know, like, and trust you, then it's going to be harder for
Mm.
you to build that business.
Hmm. And that know, like, and trust. That is an age-old motto.
Mhm.
Know, like, trust. It's been around
Yeah.
since the beginning of time. And I
That
think we
one,
lose sight of that.
and what is it? Marketing or real estate, location, 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 right?
Yeah.
Like those are
Yeah.
the 2 that don't go away
Hmm. Hmm.
in business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So now you touched on too in the beginning about our young people and this. age of AI and online connections where we're connected, but we're not really. I mean, we're detached. It's this kind of weird place that we're all in where we're trying to keep up with the Jones, or we're trying to present ourselves in a way that we may, I mean, and what people really crave from us is authenticity. And so talk more about that, and what are we doing with our young people? What are they going through, and what can we do?
I think so you do have to be up on AI and up on technology and up on what's happening. But I do also feel like one way to leverage yourself against your peers is to actually have those network and have those connections. And it's just not all virtual, whether it's inside your corporation,
Mm.
like asking for meetings or coffees or just getting to know, like if working with your boss to be like, hey, I want to schedule a coffee with this person because that's where I'm trying to go, right? And hopefully your
Mhm.
boss is open to that, knowing like they should be grooming you for the next level. Um, or if you're starting a business, right? There's a lot of people like influencers. I feel like that's dying a little bit, but they're still out there, right?
Do you think
Um,
so? I was going to ask you about that too. So we'll talk more about that in a minute, but yeah.
um, but it's like, um, how sustainable is that? And if you're going to build a business that's sustainable, it's a business that a lot of times is your community is supporting you on, right?
Hmm.
Your family and friends will support you for so long, but you have to get out of that circle. And if you can
Hmm.
get into your community and your community can help support you and you can um, network within your community, it's word of mouth that's going to get you even farther than, Google reviews are great. Um, Being high on SEO, like Sam with All Things Social, right? She'll tell you all these things that you need to do online and how to get your business reputable, but also she'll tell you also people need to know you in person as well. So I feel like if younger people understand, yep, social media and all that stuff is important to stay relevant, but also knowing people in person will help you stay sustainable.
Mm. Can you really grow relationships, do you think, virtually, or do you think you have to have that in-person connection?
Um, well, look at Spanx, right? Like you brought it up, like
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
person, she might not have been really networking, but she wore her shirt.
Hmm.
So if you're building a business and you're wearing your shirt or it's on your car or you're wearing a hat, I had a friend who says, I'm a realtor on her hat. And she was at a store and he was like, oh, you're a realtor? And she's like, how do you know? And it's like, this is on your hat. Right. So I have another one who does Medicare and it says on his backpack that he walks around with, ask me about Medicare. Right. So um, I think if you want, depending on what it is, if
Hmm.
your business is community, right, and you need people in your community to support your business, whether it's like the trades or insurance or technology or whatever, um, I think you do need to be in your community and you do need to have people know who you are. Now, if everything is only online, well, then you need to have a strong online presence. I don't know if that answered your question.
Yeah, totally, it does. I mean, it's interesting to think about. And then you were talking too about, how our young people, they're just, they don't understand the value of having those personal connections, whether it's a handyman or it's, a colleague at work, or, wherever it may, or somebody just in their community, their neighborhood. Talk a little bit more about that. I mean, what have you been seeing? You've got some younger adults.
I do have younger adults, but I mean, well, and you know this, like as a real estate agent, um, the tools in your toolbox are what sets you apart from other agents, right?
Hmm.
Just as well as like if somebody has like a plumber, it's like, oh, my neighbor's a plumber. Oh, you have an issue? Go talk to them. Oh, you have an issue, your heating or your AC is out. Here's, two great companies. You should talk to these companies. It's for us. in the, real estate world or the business world or business development, when we have great tools in our toolbox, that helps us grow our business and it helps us um, be that go-to person because they're like, oh, she has the tools. I know exactly how to solve this problem. For young people, if they start building their toolbox just for their own personal self, that will help them get farther in life if you know the plumber, the mechanic, the banker, the your insurance agent, right? And the biggest three tools that they should always know is their insurance agent, their banker, their financial advisor, because those are the three things that go with us all through life, right? The real
Mm,
estate agent is a great one, like if you're thinking of moving or not moving, but those are the tools where I think it's if you look at every commercial right now, it's like, oh, just bank online, bank online, bank online.
mhm,
Or you can sign up for insurance. And I always say if you can get a quote in 10 minutes, I don't know if that's the right quote for you, whether it's mortgage or insurance, right?
mhm.
Because do they know everything and are you actually being covered by what you really need? Um, so it's it's one of those where I just think with technology and how business have changed, I think the younger generation just thinks like that's what you do. You just go online and you sign up for it, and then if something disastrous happens and they get frustrated because they keep getting the runaround with the 1-800 number and it's a different agent that they talk to every time they call in. And it's like, what is your case number? And like, well, let me hold on, I got to do some research and I'll get back to you. Versus, if it's somebody that you just hit on your speed dial or in your contact list of like, okay, this happened. Um, and I think as we're both older, but when we've had tragedy happen in your life,
Mhm,
that's the hardest time for your brain to think of like solving problems. And when you have your problem solvers easy as your toolbox, it just makes life a little bit easier. And so that's just kind of what I try to teach my kids. Like, if you're frantic because somebody got your account and now it zeroed out your account, and you can't, you're like, oh, your bank is like, oh, yeah, we'll research it. It'll be 48 hours or 3 months before we can refund you. Versus you
mhm.
can text your banker right away and be like, oh my gosh, something's happening. And they can give you the 3 steps to be like, let me figure it out and we can get back to you. And, and again, they might not be able to refund it right away either, but at least you know that you have somebody that's on it and that has your back and knows that you're not just somebody calling from wherever. You are actually in the community and they need to help you.
That is such a great perspective. Like I just don't think anybody's going to think about the whole when tragedy strikes because you never know when
Right.
you're going to find yourself in a situation wherein your brain doesn't really work well when
No,
you're under duress like that. So to have some people that you can trust, and it doesn't have to be, a laundry list of people, but just
no.
maybe some, core group of go-tos that, you can trust to call, or even text, whatever the case may be. And the people that are going to care about you and want to help you get through a tough time.
Yeah. Like when my mom died suddenly, it was like, and my dad took care of it, but this is like, oh, make sure you do this, this, and this. And then when my dad passed, it was like, okay, who do I call in? Or like when he had to go into hospice, it's like, okay, who do I know that's in the senior sphere? Like, who should I
Hmm.
call? What should I do? What questions should I be asking? What do I
Hmm.
need to do now? Right?
Hmm.
Um, because I've been networking, those are the tools I had in my toolbox. If you're not networking and you just do uh um I was gonna say a 9 to 5, but you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if networking, you don't need to do that for your business, but somebody that has all those tools, you can call and be like, oh my gosh, I my mom has to into a care. We're not sure how we're going to get her into a care. Do you know which center we should go to? How do we do this? And I can be like, yeah, this is a great senior. coach, talk to them, you know,
Mm-hmm.
or this is a great um, in-home care facility, talk to them, or here's two of them that I know, interview them. I
Mm-hmm.
always tell people, I always try to give two and say interview because not everybody's personality fits with
Yeah.
everything. Um, but if you don't want to build those tools in your toolbox, as long as you know somebody who has those tools that you can call when life happens, then that just makes it easier for you to not have to think so hard when you're trying to survive, you know,
Yeah.
the life.
Yeah. My gosh. And I mean, it is. And you don't think of it until after, until after the fact or till you're in it. It's just not something you think about until you're
Right,
trying to deal with it. Or unless you've seen someone go through it, then you might. But it
right.
is so
And I
key.
also think it's like, what do you call it? Like, uh, not maturity, but just having lived life.
Mhm. Yeah.
You know, some people have to live life at a very young age, and some people don't have to live life until they're older when they have to deal with parents or whatever. But
Mhm.
I think once you've lived life, then you understand how important those tools are.
Yeah. I think you're so right. So Kendra, talk to us a little bit about your sparkly style. We got to touch on that just for a second because I
Um,
love it.
so yeah, I've always been into jewelry, and you know, the great thing about jewelry is it always fits, right? No, but I've always loved it. I've always loved sterling silver, gold or whatever, but real jewelry. So, but affordable real jewelry. So
Hmm.
I've been doing that for probably 19 years. But so that is kind of now I just do it more as like this is just kind of my fun, stay connected with the my customers that I've built over the years. So it's more of my fun, sparkly side, but my true passion is develop business development and helping people be successful and grow and connecting them in the right circles and helping them however I can.
Oh, and you have been so great at that. I mean, I've witnessed firsthand. I love the way you present yourself. I love your professionalism and the tools that you use, and you're direct and you're to the point. And you ask the right questions, which is all so important. So tell us now, what does the future hold for Kendra Miles Smith? Are you comfortable where you're at? Are you going to stay here for a little while, or do you have some other aspirations?
You know, for right now, I am comfortable. Like I just read a quote, right, that says, um, never stop learning, right? And that's just so for right now, I love where I'm at. I love doing what I'm doing. So because again, it's my wheelhouse of the connections and making new connections and nurturing the old connections and just helping people grow. And maybe that's the big mama hat on, right? Like helping my birds fly out of the flock, uh, out of the nest. But no, I'm it it's actually a blessing to be able to be happy where you're at. Because I know and just having watched so many people's journeys changed and pivot and stay the same and watching so many people grow and live their dream and do what they love to do um is fulfilling. So, you know, I'm 100% happy where I'm at right now. Could it change in the future? Who knows? But
Gotcha.
for today, it's amazing and I'm truly blessed to be happy where I'm working and connecting.
Well, congratulations on your success. I'm so happy for you. It's so nice to hear that you're so content with where you're at and that you know where you're in you feel like you're in the right place and the universe is speaking to you. I love that.
Yes.
Where can we find you? Where can people find Kendra Miles Smith? Where would you like us to look for you?
Well, you know, you can always find me on LinkedIn,
Okay.
but and that's probably the easiest because Metro North Chamber that is there. So you can reach me there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I think LinkedIn
connecting,
has all of my things. So
perfect. Perfect. So people can just reach out to you, message you on LinkedIn, connect with you
yes,
online or in person, always that cup of coffee ready to go.
yes, yes. Whether it's virtual or in person, I totally understand.
Got it. I love that. Well, thank you so very much, Kendra, for sharing this incredible insight. I feel like there's some really great takeaways from just how the introverts can manage a scary, intimidating networking situation to, our young people and the value of connections, creating connections still, even though we have this virtual world and AI is becoming so prevalent in our lives, to just, how we too can be more, integrated into our communities, and the value of having that go-to list, and just so much good stuff here. Thank you so much, Kendra, for your time and your talents and for your amazing insight. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you. Thanks for asking me. I love it. It was good.
Good. I'm so glad.
Thank you so much for joining us for this week's edition of the Savvy Leader Podcast. We were so glad to have you. Be sure to check out the SavvyLeadersLounge.com for further inspiration and resources to help you be the savvy leader you are always meant to be. See you next time.